Something extraordinary and dangerous is unfolding in the Persian Gulf. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that carries nearly one-fifth of the world's oil supply, is now under attack. Iranian drones, naval mines, burning tankers, and now the new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, says that the strait could remain closed to the world, said it should remain closed to the world. And if that happens, this isn't just a Middle East war story. This is an energy shock, a food shock, a global supply chain shock that could affect every household watching this video right in your pocket. Tonight, we're going to break it down. How Iran is shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, what that waterway, how it controls the entire world's economy, what Donald Trump says he will do about it, and what preppers need to be watching for in a situation like this very closely. Because when the choke points like this close, history tells us that the consequences spread worldwide. Over the last several days, the Persian Gulf has turned into one of the most dangerous maritime zones on Earth. Reports from maritime intelligence firms indicate that multiple attacks on ships within the first few days of this conflict have occurred. The tools being used are exactly what military analysts predicted what Iran would deploy: drone swarms, fast attack boats, and naval mines. On 10 March 26, reports indicated that Iran had begun laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most destructive tactics possible. Mines are cheap, but they're incredibly effective. During the tanker war of the 1980s, just a handful of mines shut down shipping routes and damaged multiple vessels. Now imagine hundreds of thousands of mines scattered throughout the channel, 21 miles wide to the most narrow point. Now, so far, they've only put out a few mines, but that's enough to cause a lot of trouble. We have attacked, and I think it's sunk 16 mine-laying boats, but it looks like they can lay these mines with a lot of their smaller boats. So the effect is immediate. Insurance companies refuse to insure ships. Shipping companies refuse to sell through, and the global energy flow stops. Iran has reportedly deployed large numbers of naval suicide drones launched from underground bases. In fact, they have these fast attack. They got the fast attack boats on the surface, but they also got naval drones. They got them stored underground. The question is, can they get them out of the tunnels they're in and put them in the water? Can they put them in the water fast enough to keep this stuff closed? So far, they're keeping it closed. These drones can strike tankers, ports, and naval vessels. Each attack increases risk, and the risk alone can shut down shipping. And indeed, right now, it has. Most Americans have heard of the Strait of Hormuz. Few realize how critical it really is. Every day, 20 million barrels of oil move through that narrow passage. That includes exports from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. This isn't a single choke point. Well, it is, but it carries 20% of the entire global oil consumption. But it's only part of the story, the oil. Hormuz also moves liquefied natural gas, petroleum, petrochemical feedstocks, industrial chemicals, and fertilizer components. Even sulfur used to make fertilizers moves to this route. It's a fair percentage of global sulfur supply for fertilizers, which means this conflict is not just about gasoline prices. It's about food production worldwide. And I think we in the prepper community care a lot about that, especially how many times have I come on here from the years past saying food prices are going to rise. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. Well, here is the story that becomes even bigger. Oil, oil is not just fuel. It's the raw materials behind enormous parts of the modern economy. When oil supply gets disrupted, it ripples through everything. Energy prices rise, transportation costs rise, and it goes much further. Oil feeds the production of plastics, synthetic fibers, medical supplies, fertilizers, packaging materials. Think about that for a moment. The disruption of Hormuz can affect the availability of clothing, pharmaceuticals, food, industrial goods. even the plastics we use in electronics and in our vehicles. It's a cascading effect, and it begins with a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. Let me update this and get the chat room on this little computer here. And then we got this is where the geopolitical stakes escalate. Hang on a minute. Let me pull this up. Pardon me, guys. The ones watching more than I am running a live session, so I need to keep an eyeball on over my shoulder in the chat room for right now. I'll go into it after I get through the news. Iran's new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, has reportedly stated that the Strait of Hormuz should remain closed. This is a strategic lever. Iran cannot outmatch the United States militarily, but it can disrupt global trade. Closing Hormuz is essentially an attempt to weaponize the global economy. If oil prices skyrocket, Western economies feel the pain. Political pressure builds, and Iran gains leverage. The strategy has long been discussed in military planning circles, but now we're seeing it actually executed. Donald Trump has made it clear that reopening the Strait of Hormuz is a top national priority right now. Historically, the United States has maintained one overwhelming advantage in this area, and that is the U.S. Fifth Fleet and its allied forces have the ability to conduct mine cleaning operations, escort oil tankers, strike Iranian light sites, and destroy drone facilities. However, mine clearing takes time. Even with advanced technology, clearing a mined waterway can take weeks or months. Meanwhile, Iran could continue launching drones and missile attacks, which could mean reopening the Strait of Hormuz might require sustained naval operations, airstrikes, and potentially even operations on Iranian territory. Yeah, we don't want to see that, but some analysts have even raised the possibility of boots on the ground scenarios if this escalation continues. Now, one thing they can do is use these drones, people. I mean, a lot of people don't really appreciate the range of these drones. Like a Shahed 136S drone has a range that's, 1,200 to 1,500 kilometers. You're talking, better than 600 miles to 1,000 miles almost operationally, just operational. So maximum, range is more than that. So that's a lot of range, which means they could be way interior to the country. So, the first thing that my military would try to do is they'll try to pound the drone sites whether they know of them, but they're hidden and distributed all over the country. Now, what's near the coast, they're going to be pounding the heck out of anything near the coast. Now, okay, I do want to say something. Just because I'm talking about war and this stuff, don't mean that I endorse warfare. I'm giving you guys the stats. I'm just letting you know what's happened and the ramifications of it. That's what this is all about. So, Alpha Omega, they may go for nuclear bunker busters down the road, but that, you got to find all the different sites. There's so many sites, it's not funny. And I think that would only be used maybe for the Pickaxe facility, which is deep underground. All right, we digress. So I'll come back to the chat room in a minute. So, guys, the conflict is already spreading. Drone strikes have targeted multiple bases in the region. Reports indicate attacks against Italian forces now, stationed facilities in Brill and other strategic locations. Maritime attacks have continued against shipping, as we know. In fact, Iran attacked some tankers that were actually located within the zone of Iraq, within their exclusive economic zone, within Iraqi waters. They weren't even coming through the strait. So that just shows the danger. I mean, really and truly, the Persian Gulf, when you got long-range missiles and drones, it's kind of like shooting ducks in a barrel. And that's not a good situation. So that could be like that. And so everybody in the Persian Gulf could be at risk. But they're focusing mainly on the strait, but anything is wide open. There were some tankers that got through, but they were Iranian. So, yeah, I think our forces might put a stop to that. So just things to take into account. Like I said, several Western military installations have reportedly been targeted by drone swarms recently. Still happening. Uh, there are also concerns about Russian involvement behind the scenes, providing intelligence of troop locations, our military installations, and or technological support. Of course, we've done the same for the Ukrainians against Russia. Is it tit for tat? Does this escalate tensions with Russia? The Russians are really chopping right now about the Storm Shadow missiles coming from United Kingdom to Ukraine and then attacking Russia. In fact, Solovoy, who's the big spokesperson on TV for the Russian outfit regime, you might say, he's actually come out and called for destroying United Kingdom. Essentially, they could do it with their SAR bomber, and just they could create a tsunami that would just wash over most of the UK, which would be horrific. Let's hope that don't happen. Horrific. Anyway, but France has also moved naval assets into the region. They're taking their aircraft carrier, but they're not going to directly engage with Iran. Is what they're saying. But they're just there for defensive operations. Maybe they will fire some interceptors. Well, Lord knows we can use some interceptor help right now. So that's where it seems to be running low on interceptors. Uh, for the most part, the European allies remain divided over direct involvement in the conflict. Italy has been a lot more supportive in that area. Again, don't construe what I'm saying for supporting the war. I'm just bringing you guys the facts on it. So just bear in mind, I'm letting you know what is going down. And it's not looking pretty. Go back and look at my last video on how this war could end. Look at my video about the drone attacks. Oh, yeah, I'm going to come back to that because somebody made a comment and said, well, I don't think Iran's got the capability. I'm going to tell you something. I can do it myself. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove it in this video that I have developed things personally that could do exactly more than what is being mentioned. So if you go back to my drone video that I just put out, pay attention because I'm going to show you some video in a little bit. Now some people, oh, it can't be done or they can't do that. Hell, I can do it. Pardon my language. I could do it. And I'm not kidding. When you see the things I was developing 26 years ago out of a couple of garages, it'll blow your mind. Anyway, yeah, so many people come here. Well, yeah. What the heck with that? Because I'm going to tell you how it can be done. I've done it. Well, not attack with drones, but I've developed capabilities on that part, on that level of exactly what I was talking about. A shoestring budget, mind you. Been there, done it. And I got the Space Pioneer Award to prove it. Not to mention in the Guinness Book of World Records. All right. If I can do it, yeah, lots of others can do it too. So the war is not limited to the Middle East, my friends. Here we go into that territory. The FBI has warned of a potential Iran-linked drone attacks on targets inside the United States, like California, including concerns, about this retaliation that the Iranians want to invoke on us, which, Mujtaba Khamenei basically said that they were going to be taking revenge big time. So it can be done. Don't discount it. But these warnings highlight something that very many preppers have been discussing for years. Modern conflicts are no longer limited to the battlefields. Now, how long I've been telling you that? I've talked about sleeper cells on this channel before anybody talked about them. Anyway, I'm pretty darn confident of that. But these attacks can include cyber attacks, infrastructure sabotage, drone strikes, economic warfare, and the worst thing is taking down the power grid. And you should go back and watch my drone video I put up just to show you how stark that can be. Most people just can't fathom it, how bad that would be. A full-scale nuclear war won't be as bad as taking down the entire nationwide power grid, unless the nuclear war takes down the nationwide power grid. So, but that's not a given. It just depends on how it's conducted. I've done videos on how to survive a nuclear war. I talk in great detail about all the aspects of radiation and how to shield for it.
far more than I've ever seen on any YouTube channel. Probably too much. It's probably more than people want. People want little nice sound bites on YouTube. No, I went great, excruciating detail talking about it. So believe you me, I know what I'm talking about here. So, guys, but when we get back to prepping, this is where the story becomes practical. And if the Strait of Hormuz stays disrupted, several things could happen quickly. Energy prices could spike, and we've already seen some of that. They went up, they went down, now they're coming back up because suddenly the confidence that we can open the Strait of Hormuz is rapidly eroding. I wonder why. Food prices could rise. Yeah, they will if this continues. Shipping delays could grow. Supply chains could tighten again. And, we saw something similar to this during the pandemic. Well, it might be a plan, ought to be using the first syllables of that. But energy disruptions can spread even faster. For preparedness-minded people, this reinforces several principles. Diversify food storage, maintain energy resilience. Do you have solar? Do you have generators? Now, don't count on generators for long term. I'm here to tell you, the best ones ain't going to last but a year before you got to put them in the shop. And you better have 2 or 3 of the same generator. Remember that old adage. 3 is 2, and 2 is 1, and 1 is none. And believe you me, I've experienced that out here using my generators before I had to take them to the shop all the time. And new ones, I had brand new ones I replaced. A brand new one I replaced 3 times. But hey, I had power. I'm my own power company, basically. The solar's been a lot more resilient, but I've had some issues with that too. But it's running. It's rolling. That's what's bringing this to you guys tonight is solar power through my solar panels and batteries via Starlink. Anyway, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. So do maintain energy resilience. Pay attention to global supply chains. And because a conflict thousands of miles away, yeah, it can show up in your grocery stores, in your local grocery store shelves. So the Strait of Hormuz is not just a regional issue. It's one of the most critical arteries of the global economy. Right now, that artery is under pressure. Iran is trying to weaponize the world's energy systems. The United States is trying to reopen it. And the outcome could shape energy markets, food prices, and global stability for years. So the strategic question becomes this. Will the world force the strait open? Or will the choke point remain closed long enough to trigger a global economic shock? A shock of our supply chains, what we got on the shelves. How is it going to affect us? These are things you better be planning for. This is why we prep. This is why we get ready. This is what I've been telling you guys to do for a long time. And now we may be on the cusp of it. When the so-called pandemic broke out, suddenly tons, one night everybody hit the grocery store and cleared out all the toilet paper. Unbelievable. And some people criticized me for laughing. I couldn't help it because I had that kind of stuff stocked for a long time. I didn't need anything like that. And if the people had planned, if they'd have thought ahead, they wouldn't have been crying over toilet paper. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. Just don't tell me that because I've been doing it for a long time. So if you want deeper analysis on global risk and preparedness strategy, subscribe to this channel, bang the bell, and click all. I'm not done yet. I'm going to come up and bring you some more stuff. Stay alert. And, guys, the next phase of this crisis could be unfolding. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some stuff that, like I said, I was going to show you that I could do these kind of attacks if I were so inclined. I'm not at all. In fact, I'm a member of the National Task Force on Homeland, National and Homeland Security. So, I'm working to keep these kind of things from happening. But I just want you guys to understand that the risks here are real. The risks here are existent. And it may be finally coming home to roost. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a share all screen. Let's see, am I in the right place or no? Bing, 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 bing. All right. I'm going to show y'all some stuff. To be the share screen. Ding, 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 ding. I promised you I would show you
things I was doing 26 years ago. 26 years ago, I've told y'all about the Catch Prize rocket I've done. I've talked to you about the Halo rockets I've done, but I hadn't talked much about my balloon launch return vehicle project. I started a company called the High Altitude Research Corporation. This was just a bunch of us guys that came out of our club project. We decided to do some stuff professionally, but we were doing it on a shoestring budget, working out of a couple of garages. It was just a few guys we did this program. There's something called a Phase 1 SBR, Small Business Innovative Research Grant. A lot of government agencies put up these SBRs. The Phase 1 is supposed to be a paper study. You're supposed to sit down and do the engineering and turn in a report. Well, this is how we did paper studies. We built hardware. We tested rocket motors. We built a flight body. I let out a little contract to Lockheed Martin. They designed me a wing body, and they did it for like $15,000 because I was a really good friend of the guy who ran the division. So he kept me some breaks. Boeing wouldn't even do a project for under $50 million. Here I had a contract with Lockheed Martin for something like $15,000. So there's a lot of things. This is a hybrid rocket motor. You may have seen this trailer in some of my videos from my house in my backyard. That's where it wound up for a long time until I finally sold it to my good friend Tim Pickens. I'll do a video on green grays. Galactic grays on that because I did a video where I sold it to him. I just never posted it. So that may be coming one of these days. So this is a compendium of a lot of different videos that Tim Pickens' brother actually. I didn't have a video camera back then. He put this together, and some of it's grainy, it's old, and he cut it different ways. But this is his. I don't have any video otherwise of this stuff. So watch this. I'm gonna open this up a little bit bigger here. I'm not sure how this looks to you guys. I'll put it up a little bit bigger here. All right. We did several test firings of this rocket motor. We did a little fuel grain that we designed just for a balloon launch return vehicle. Let's see here. Is it playing? Well, here we are. There it is. It's about to fire. That's a firing right there of our rocket motor. June 6, 1998. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, hang on. I mean, he's got some real cheesy music, so I turned the sound off. Well, we could get up to 100,000 feet. Some of them we designed for 80, some designed for. This is on the boat, the C. Michael Calais. This is the chief engineer right here. That's Mike Smith, chief engineer of Aerostar. I got him to go out in a boat with us. There's the helium bottles we're filling. And let's see, I'm in this picture somewhere. I'm somewhere in this area. That's probably Steve Mistake because he's passed away. Let's see here. Ding, ding, ding. Mind you, this is right around the year 2000. No, it was before year 2000. Here we are filling the balloon. We got 2 fill tubes going. So we're rapidly filling it. The thing about doing it from a boat is you have to direct the boat so that it's heading in the exact same direction and speed as the wind. If you do that, you can inflate the balloon straight up. It's called a freestanding inflation. It can be done with a boat if you manage that. We had a boat come in front of us, which caused us a problem. We had filed all the paperwork so that people would give us a clear range. Somebody didn't. Now this one, I saw because this Sea Life of KLA cost me $20,000 on the spot market. I actually sold a balloon launch to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory for their Martian Aerobot experiment, which was ran by Hector Kurzanovich, a Russian at JPL, believe it or not. This was the Martian Aerobot. We did it on the same boat. That's me right there in the hat. On the left, that's me. Yeah, I had some weight on me then. I was only sleeping about 2 hours a night and full time. That was a subscale flight model of it that we actually launched several times from 300-foot bungee cords and launched from a rocket motor just to get practice in the controls of this thing of flying it. And then we built a larger. So we did rocket motor tests, we did a subscale model, and we did the full scale model. We hired Lockheed Martin, and we went out in a ship. This is the subscale model after being launched by a bungee cord at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Now here we are. This is the full scale one. You can see down here. That's the full scale one. Well, for the SBR, we actually planned to build a much bigger one if we'd have won the phase 2. So we're slowly letting the balloon up. Then we're going to walk this thing off to the back of the boat and release it. And this thing right here, this box, was the launch controls, and it had a cold gas reaction control system in it. This had a lot of hardware, and we had a control center on the boat to control it, to fly it, remote pilot it. And here we are walking it down the boat to release it at the end. That's Mike Smith. I'm somewhere in this area. I think that's me, or that's me. I think that's me right there. Yeah, that's me right there, I believe. We're out at sea. And off it goes. And up it goes. You see that? That is a wing body. It's a hypersonic glide vehicle. My team designed for under $70,000 before the year 2000. There the guys are. This guy's in the cabin of the boat filming this. Now, don't tell me it can't be done. I did this. And see, I was talking about launching drones from balloons. The Ukrainians are doing it, and they're getting deep into Russia with this. I posted this on Facebook. Somebody thought it was funny. They thought laugh about it. No kidding. It's not funny. It's doable. Let's see. I think somewhere here. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the motor behind me. Hang on a minute. Oh, it looks like my buddy doing a rocket powered kind of. Where are we at here? This is the motor that I pick up a lot of times to show you guys. It's sitting behind me right now. This the very same engine right here for our catch prize rocket. We did a 3-second burn there. I think that's the tail end of it. And here we are with our. This is our. Blow this up. This is our Hark catch prize rocket, similar mission. I've done this kind of stuff a lot. That's Glenn May right there. He died in the Spaceship 2 cold flow motor test in Mojave Airport. 3 people lost their lives there. I'll see it go up in a minute. Yeah, don't tell me. I don't think they got the capability to do that. If I could do this kind of things on a shoestring budget, what can a country do? And look, Iran's got a lot of engineers. Don't think they don't. Lots of engineers, really sharp engineers. I know I've worked with some of them. Some of the sharpest people I know, some of the best electrical engineers I know. So, oops, what the heck? Oh, yikes. Hey, that was one of my favorite channels, China Uncensored. All right, here it is at the edge of space, the same one you just saw being launched from the boat. We had all the telemetry coming down in the video over. There goes the rocket to the left there. Anyway, don't tell me these things can't be done. This is a scientific paper that Mike Smith and I co-wrote on the balloon launch return vehicle. And you should have seen the final report I turned in to NASA Ames was very thick. This is the flight control center for that vehicle. These are onboard cameras that was onboarded. We had downlink of all the tracking data, tell us the full orientation of it to the boat. There it is, static picture. There it is going up. There's the balloon performance curves. So this is on the internet still. Raven's on Aerostar's, excuse me, these should be called Raven. Aerostar's own website. So there you are. Now, when you come to this Shahed drone, this is the Shahed 136B. Well, that's 136. Here you can see them you can launch a bunch of them out of the back of just a truck. It's just like a transfer truck, just your regular old truck. Tell me you can't put these on the back of a boat and launch them. Oh, Lord. Some people, oh, I don't think they got the capability. Yeah, they do. The question is, do they want to do it? And I talk about why they might not want to do this in other video, but given what the new Ayatollah sent, I don't know. The Shaheeds, there's a whole family of Shaheeds. This is just a 136. There's a whole family of these. That's the one you're most used to seeing over in Russia and Ukraine. That's what a lot of them are. But if you look at the Shahed family, they got a lot of different drones in this family. See, these are the different numbers. It's a family of drones. They call just about look here. There's one that's a pretty sophisticated design. I think they stole that one from us. They hacked one of our drones flying over and actually landed the thing and stole our technology. That was an amazing feat to hack one of our drones that was flying over. So, and that's probably based on the one they stole from us right there, by one of our Reaper drones. But, it goes both ways. In combat, things happen both ways. So that's a family of drones. There's not just one. There's a bunch of them. They're Shahed families. When somebody says Shahed drone, it's like, well, which one? Which one? All right. So I'll read the chat room here in a second. Anyway, and I told you guys how the war would end. That the chances of the Iranian regime collapsing were really very slim. And suddenly other people are coming out with the same thing. Yeah, I beat them to the punch because this was just published yesterday. And I beat them with how the Iraq war ends, how the Iran war ends, excuse me. That's a video you want to watch right there. I worked on that for days. Done a lot of analysis, and what I found in the end wasn't what I expected necessarily, but it's once you go through the analysis, it's like yikes. So there you are, and my friends. If you want to help this channel, I'm going to do some other things here at the end. We're not done, but how you feeling to help this channel? Help yourself, because if you want to support the guys who are trying to take all our freedoms away and put it into just the House of Klaus world order, then you might not want to vote for them by buying their junk. If we got just 12 companies that control over 550 consumer brands. And I've done a bunch of videos recently talking about all the contaminants that you might find in this stuff. And you can see a lot of those right here. Toxic products, chemical, toxic toothpaste, just stuff like that. Talking about the toxins in dishwashing detergent, just all kind of stuff like that. It'll blow your mind when you really get into it. And that's what you're getting with this stuff, because they found out it's cheaper to settle lawsuits than it is to provide good, clean products in the first place. So, and then again, those companies are all controlled by they have controlling interest in those companies that are owned by these big asset manager companies. And one that really disturbs me is this one, BlackRock. So I've come up with a way y'all can switch away from it. There is switchwithgreg.com. If you go to switchwithgreg.com, you'll discover we got a family-owned company providing non-toxic products. Even the cleaners, the household cleaners, are plant-based. Then they're researching to make sure that they're not toxic. A lot of research is done on the house, and this is you support family because it's made in America. You're supporting family jobs, American jobs. So give that a thought and come to switchwithgreg.com, fill out the form, hit enter, and it goes straight to me. This is not a website that belongs to anybody else. It just goes to me, and I share it with one other person. We keep this all confidential. And that one other person is wanting to be contacted because I don't know how, I'm just swamped for time. I need help. I don't barely have time to sleep. Last week all night, I only got 3 or 4 hours sleep a night. Well, about 3 hours a night. It was really kicking me. All right, let's look at what's going on in the world. Look here. Oil prices had dropped down, to 80 something, low 80s a barrel. And then it started dawning on people that, we just might not be able to keep that strait open or reopen it. So prices have been shooting back up. See, here we are, just shy of $100 a barrel. And some people think it'll go up to 150. Some are even saying 200. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Kathleen, we're talking about a lot more than just, detergent. We're talking about several. Yeah, there's some things you can use like borax, but we're talking about a wide range of products. Like we got over 500 products available. So if you want to see it, we don't advertise. So if you want to see that, just put your name in and we'll take you on a tour of what it is. So there we are. I hate this stuff popping up. Where in the world is the thing to knock that out? There we go. Now here's what's odd. Some people say, well, there ain't nothing off the coast. So there's nothing to worry about. Well, we got not only the Doomsday plane up, turns out we got several of these submarine hunter planes flying around now. Yeah, this guy right here and some others flying around, just trying to check out what is out there. So, what is going on? Why are they flying all this stuff around like the Boeing E-6B Mercury? That's the Doomsday plane. But this is the P-8, I believe, the P-8. Let's see what's going to tell us here. Yeah, there's several different planes flying around there. Here we are. That's the Doomsday plane again. Where are we at? Yeah, I said a word about these Shahed drones. This is Shahed 136, like I was showing you earlier. That's why I showed you that drone. That's the ones they're using most. It's got quite a range to it. If you put that on a balloon and dropped it from a balloon, if that balloon could travel across the United States at 100,000 feet, we ain't nothing on the coast yet. Everybody says, "Oh, well, think we got coastal defense." No, we don't. We don't have anything to take this stuff out. Trust me, I know. I know. We have not geared our defenses to this kind of stuff yet. Even though I started warning about this over 2 years ago, and I wrote a paper on the balloon EMP threat, and it got briefed to the Homeland Security Committees of the House of Representatives and the Senate. My paper. So, guys, I'm not. A lot of your YouTube channels are just people coming on here and yapping, and everybody thinks they're some kind of expert. And they tell you so much horse dovers, it's not funny. But people yuck that stuff up. I come on here and I don't barely get any views. They'll get it. They'll tell you that. I've seen one of the guys say, well, if it's nighttime, you ain't got to worry about an a coronal mass ejection from the sun. You'll be safe. He gets, nearly 100,000 views saying junk like that. And they just totally don't know about things like the Quebec hydro event, which happened about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, took down the Quebec power grid. Why? Because the Earth has a magnetosphere that goes all the way around. If you get sufficiently strong CME, it can ring the whole darn magnetosphere like a bell. And those particles go, the charged particles go down those magnetic field lines everywhere. Now, a little bitty one, no. Bigger one, yes. And that wasn't near as big as the Carrington event. So there you go. So, you need to come to Green Greg's. If you want to see, come to my channel. If you want to find out what's really cooking, I chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. I'm a member of 2 power grid defense organizations. Yeah, the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and the Secure the Grid group. So, and you can look them up on the web. So, yeah, here he is saying, well, this thing should remain shut. Now, here's some other news. I like to bring in some other news sometimes. I don't, always just talk war stuff. Turns out there was an attacker who went in to attack this Old Dominion University. And look, somebody lost their life and 2 were injured, but he was subdued by ROTC students. ROTC students in college apprehended this guy and subdued him. And for that, I say, yeah, he went in yelling, what? Alley snack bar? Something like that, right? So this could be one of your lone wolves. I've been warning you guys, we've been seeing a lot more of this stuff lately. This could be in just one of them. I'm seeing different reports. But the good thing is, in this case, he got subdued by some other students. I'm going to chat room in just a second. Let's just look at earthquakes and we'll look at space weather, and then I'll head into the chat room. So look at these, just almost evenly spaced here. And then I've never seen them quite like that. Well, there was 2 overlapping over here in Attu Island. You got Attu and Adak. ADAC's the furthest one out. At-2's next to it. The Japanese took ADAC and At-2 back in World War II, and we had to take it back. It was called the 1,000-Mile War. And the oldest video of me on YouTube, I'm talking about that. The oldest video of me on YouTube from May of 1993. I should pull that up sometime. Nebraska got a 2.5. And Los Angeles, we got one close to Los Angeles here. Look at that. Ding, ding. How do you pronounce that? Carpinteria? I don't know. This one looks like it may be on the fault line here, San Andreas, 2.5. Oh, when I was trying to do one of the videos a couple of days ago, that one, the drone one or something. It was the last one I did. I was trying to think of the name of Thomas Edison, and I got brain lock, and I called him the light bulb guy. So sometimes I write script just to keep me from getting into dumb mistakes like that. Because when I don't have any script, sometimes I am a senior guy, so I can afford to have a senior moment. I got an excuse. I got the get out of jail free card because I am a senior guy. So when I have a senior moment, So, hey, the Puerto Ricans are dancing a little bit tonight, but not a lot. We just got one earthquake over, and we got one on the Dominican Republic. So yeah, I should be excused for having senior moments right off the bat. All right, Turkey got a big one. Look at that, 5.3. That's a big zone. Here we got two of them, and we were quaking over here in this area just the other day. That's a small one. Morfoviani, Greece. I don't know, but there's a bigger one here. I may have to zoom in to click the other circle. Ouch. It's not doing what I want to here. Here we go. So I can grab that inner circle here. So the circle gets bigger as I zoom in. There it is. 5.1. Okay. I just hate when the circles do it. And then, of course, this area over here is always hyperactive. Papua New Guinea, Philippines. No, it's Taiwan. This is a good size one here in Indonesia, 5.2. So the earth is shaking and the quaking. Ring of fire is ringing in a few other places. And we do space weather. Sun's got a bunch of little spots looking at us, nothing major. This is the biggest one that's turning away from us. Looks like it's developing. It wasn't that big a few days ago. Hopefully it will peter out before it comes back around. The auroral activity is not too big, but it's there, probably because of this big coronal hole in the sun putting out solar wind. Now, if you come down here in the asteroids, look back here to March 9th. We were on air, March 11th maybe? And none of these were even on the chart. Now look at all these near misses that we discovered after they passed by. Fortunately, most of them were closer to the moon than Earth. I think we knew about this one. But anyway, 0.1, that was coming in between the Earth and the geosynchronous satellites, but it was only a small one too. Yeah, we had that one. We saw that one with that one. But look at all this population in the past. That's the way it goes a lot of times. Now, we do have one coming up today, but it's going in mostly toward the moon, 80% of the way toward the moon. So, this is a lunar distance, basically, how far from Earth to moon. And when it gets to be less than 1, that means it's inside the orbit of the moon, but that's 80% of the way to the moon. So nothing to worry about. Now, this one we've known about for some time. 0.7 the distance between Earth and the moon. That is 20 meters. That one's 13. These will all blow up in the atmosphere. Something like this, 68 meters. Oh, if that was closer, it would punch through. That one would be a bad day. 53 meters, bad day. We don't have any ginormous ones on here. Well, we got one. 219 meters right there. That's a big one. But it's going to be 10 times the distance from Earth to Moon, so don't lose any sleep over it. So the good word is there's nothing that we know of that you should lose sleep over in this department. All right, I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to the chat room and see what you guys have been talking about. So, pardon me. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di. All right, let me see what you guys are talking about. I'm going to open up the chat room here on this computer where I was actually showing stuff. So what you guys are chatting about on here. Let's see, Mr. Dunham. You can hear me 5 by 5. Hey, when I start these videos, Zoom don't always let me know when it's actually live. And that's a real detriment because most people will click off in the first 30 seconds if they don't like it. And when you sit there and go, duh, that's a problem. And it's one of the issues I got with using Zoom. I need to use something else. That's just aggravating that you don't even know if you're live or not. I mean, you could either be bye, 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 and already through your first sentence and then you go live, or you can be sitting here going, it's just, I hate Zoom about that. And even when I record videos, it's not that good. Hey, Kim Blatchard, Mudslinger, JDP 33, Captain Trips, good to see you back. Chump 45, good to see you back. And then Stan the Man, Granville, he's in our Freedom Restoration Foundation. Kathlena, hey, I don't know what to say. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you what, that research I did was all me on the end of the war, how this war could end. So, howdy, Alaska. Mag Rising, good to see you in the house. Yes, almost $5 a gallon where you're at. Ooh wee, that's rough. Alpha Omega, I heard from a YouTube channel that Israel used a bunker buster with a small nuke. Yeah, does that mean there's a nuke though? It could have been a whole lot of explosives. I don't think they've used a nuke, but they've got, the lower end of the rumors are 90, the higher end is something like 230. I wouldn't put anything past Israel right now, to be honest. Man, there's thousands of speedboats and boat drones underground. That's true, Christy. And that's kind of what I was talking about. But, the question is, can they get them out of the ground and get them into the water? Maybe, maybe not. It may take them time, but they can have them over time. It means they can plague the strait for a long time if they so choose. And they do have a lot of cheap drones. Let's not help the totalitarians. There you go, whoosh. I'm not trying to help them. Just trying to help you guys realize the magnitude of the threat we may be facing. There ain't nothing I'm putting out here they don't already know, quite frankly. I mean, this whole idea of launching drones and balloons, Ukrainians are doing it. And this idea of dropping hypersonic vehicles from balloons, I've already shown you guys sometime 2 years ago that China was doing that already. So there's nothing that I've shown that they don't already know, quite frankly. Keith, how you doing, neighbor? Good to see you. Megiddo, that's Armageddon. T-Man said solar is junk and won't be back in its production and implementation for USA Power Grid. Now, the problem is that it's the energy storage which makes it a problem. We don't have good, cheap battery and storage technology as of yet. And the cells are, hey, we just had a bunch of solar cell farms destroyed by tornadoes, I believe yesterday. So there was extensive damage to those things. So it's right now it's not really up to snuff to be a baseload power system. I mean, it's like maybe augmentation, but not baseload. We're not quite there yet. Trump's Epstein cover-up war to protect pedophile. Well, this was brewing for a long time, Christy. Now, whatever the case about him on that stuff, I say dig it out and let the chips fall where they may. And if somebody's done the crime, let them do the time. I ain't going to hold back for no one. But there's a lot of allegations going around, and some are manufactured, some may not be. It's just hard to say right now. Toilet paper would be fine, least of my worries. There you go. Hey, I did a video talking about 7-bark, oak leaf hydrangea, oak leaf hydrangea. If you're in the eastern part of the United States and that's growing in you, that's the best toilet paper there ever was. Best toilet paper ever. Estes Rockets, mid-80s. Hey, Keith. Whoosh says that's actually one of the lowest IQ takes on, beating on Christie. Well, there's a lot of people throw out various excuses for different things. So we love the mods. How you doing, Keith? Let's see. Chihuahua. Hey, Rick Thompson, we got a barking Chihuahua. Where's our Chihuahua? You know, that's actually the name of a state in Mexico. The statement is void of spiritual enlightenment. Uh-oh. That's just a void of Black Hill. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, y'all throwing stuff at each other. Raccoon your way into an Islamic future. Oh no, I hope not. That wasn't intended for a raccoon program at all. I used to fall for that government BS too. What government BS is that, Pilgrim? What goes on in our backyard isn't our problem, although Mid East is our concern. Yeah, we got to watch our backyard. No kidding. You know, Luce says I'm the opposite. I fell for the constant, okay, evil empire shite, and then came back around to government being clean as dirty. Oh, yeah. I want to tell you guys, I always tell you that trust no man. And governments always, agencies always metastasize. They get bigger and bigger, and they, the agencies are out for their own. That's all I got to say about that. Shahed means martyr. Oh, okay. That's an interesting point. I should look that up. Uh, that's interesting. It's amazing how similar those drones are to UFO sightings. Yeah, yeah. Hey, we used to fly a lot of these planes. We tested a lot of our equipment flying these planes before we went to sea with. We did lots of balloon flights, dozens and dozens and dozens of balloon flights, sending engine igniter sets aloft, sending oxidizer tanks aloft, see how they would behave in the in situ environment 20 miles up where your atmosphere is only 1% of what it is on Earth. It's kind of like being on Mars, and the temperatures would be like 65 below zero Fahrenheit in the summer in July. We recorded our first balloon flight 65 degrees below zero Fahrenheit in July, with our very first balloon flight. So, these are, but our balloon flights generated some UFO stories too, some UFO reports. One's real funny. I'm about to tell you about it if y'all talk me into it. But it's getting late. I don't want to be on here too late. I got to get up early, guys. We're all at different stages of enlightenment. There's no need to attack other. One of the biggest things I talk about, guys, one of the biggest things is that what you're seeing tonight, what I showed you those balloon flights, and what we're doing out of garages on a shoestring budget with a few engineers, just a few of us, took a superpower just a few decades earlier. Now, I'm sitting in a garage thinking about this. Well, this used to take a superpower, and we're doing it in a garage with just a few guys and a shoestring budget. And it hit me, the gravity of the proliferation of technology. And I come to my realization that we couldn't stop it. The technology is going to expand. And the problem that hit me was that weapons of mass destruction type technology would be democratized. It's going to spread around. And it's going to go into smaller and smaller groups, and maybe even down to certain individuals. And this is happening. It's happening fast, especially in the biotech world. And it's getting scary. And that's where I come to the realization that we're going to get to the point that just a few people, like hundreds or thousands of groups, could wipe out humanity. And when you weigh that, you got to come to the conclusion that we can't survive with the kind of hatreds we got in our hearts today. And all we're doing is fanning the hatreds. Now, you got to defend yourself, but, you absolutely do have to defend yourself. But we've got to turn this world around. I got some plans to work toward that, guys, but it ain't going to be easy. And I don't know. We're in a pickle for this. We're in a real pickle. So people think I'm just out here advocating war. No, I advocate self-defense, but not war. So, but sometimes, and I'm not saying what the case was with this event here, but this event's getting us in trouble. because the end game is questionable right now. It's going to leave us with no good solution. It don't look like, unless something big happens different. I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky. It might, but it's, you got to be prepared. You got to be ready for the worst, my friends. Do you want to determine what the orbs are? No, no. And I don't think Trump's going to tell us either, quite frankly. I don't think they're going to tell us. I think some of it's ours. I do believe some of it's ours. Hey, Cha-Cha, how you doing? Older Bones, how you doing? Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah, it's Friday the 13th now. Yeehaw. It's Friday the 13th. Oh, hey, 13 is my lucky number. It's been a lucky number in my family. Self-defense is all we have. That's true. You've got to be able to defend yourself. I mean, never in the world, if you're not defending yourself, you're not doing your duty to yourself and your family. An organism has to defend itself. Even a bacteria has a membrane around it to try to keep other stuff out, So that's just part of it. Good to see you, Cha-Cha. How you doing, Cha-Cha? Everybody, Cha-Cha's had a rough time a while back, so it's good to see her in the house. She went through some rough stuff. Let's see, Okie Water Girl. I missed a few people. Back northeast Oklahoma. I'm from California, so I'm an expert dancer. Okay, whoops. I missed a few of these comments. All right, sorry guys. Sometimes I'm scrolling through. I'll go through stuff real quick. Civility, like calling someone a Satanist with no evidence. There you go. There's a lot of name calling around. Hey, we got Norway in the house. Good to see Norway here. Yeehaw. So there's a lot of allegations out there, a lot of allegations, and a lot of it's trumped up. So, we got to be able to sort the wheat from the chaff. I'm not trying to get into that tonight, but I just got a message that you guys need to hear. That's what I'm doing this tonight for. And that's just the risk we face to the global supply chains right now is not non-existent. This is something we may have to deal with. That's the purpose of bringing you the story I brought you. And I showed you some of the stuff that I did with rocket programs, because somebody left a comment in my last video. Says, they don't have the capability. They can't do it. But, you kidding me? I can do it myself. I've done stuff like that, to that level. Rockets, rocket-powered hypersonic glide bodies, all on some balloons, some ships at sea. Been there, done that. So when I talk about that, I know what I'm talking about. Other channels get on here and yap, blah, 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 blah. They don't know what they're talking about half the time, but that's what everybody watches. They watch that other junk. That's what I should do. I should just come here and start shooting out pure darn foolish stuff, and everybody yuck it up. They would. They'd just yuck it up if I come here talking pure tomfoolery. Well, I have to look at myself in the mirror occasionally, so I have a hard time doing that. So I try to bring it to you as best I can. You're getting, my twist on a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you something. I've been around a day or two, and a day or two longer than a lot of other people out there. There's people over me. Yeah, absolutely. But I've seen a lot, and I've done a lot. I don't spend my time on sports. I couldn't tell you anything about sports, what's going on in that world. I don't know jack diddle about TV, could care less, because that stuff is inconsequential to what happens in our lives. It's just court gestures. It's entertainment. And, being entertained is okay. But you know what, guys? We're in a world where there's a lot of challenges. So I really focus myself on what the heck's going on. I've done this all my life. When I was in high school, I mean, like, well, 8th or 9th grade, I was getting these big, thick books on military strategy. I was a member of some military book club. And that was my reading. Military strategy when I was a kid. So, and most of the demoralization of the division comes from outside our borders, not from our own intelligence agencies. There's a mix of that. Some of our three-letter agencies aren't our friends. Not really. They look after themselves like most government agencies do. And, you know, everybody, well, we're safe because we got all these three-letter agencies that are regulating things to make sure we're safe. Guys, there's a revolving door between those three-letter agencies, the regulator and the regulatee, because if you're in one of these regulatee companies, you're being regulated by these guys. Guess what? When they retire, they go over here. And these guys, when they retire, they go over there. And they get big bonuses and big salaries when they do that. And so, you know, it's like, you know, they're not going to, you know, put the kibosh on these guys too hard because they know that's where they're going to go for their job later. So it's an incestuous relationship that don't really serve anybody but themselves. The government agencies aren't doing us any good, and the companies they regulate are in bed with them. So that's the way those agencies work. If you don't believe me, do a little research. You'll find it's true. Hey, oldest dirt. How you doing? Good to see you. Well, we're wrapping up. So hang on, I'm gonna check my phone in a minute. See if I got any donations that way. Ding 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 ding. Somebody gave me a donation. I'd like to give. Oh, Kim Possible gave me a donation right after I closed the video. It came through right after I closed the video. So Kim Possible's in the house. If you're back here somewhere not listening, I'll give you credit now. If I see you, I'll give you credit then. I got to change my emails. Ding 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 ding. Okay. Other emails. Other stuff. All right. So now we come into the fateful moment. How many eggs are harvested today? Now it's egg guess time. How many eggs are harvested today? Go, guess. How many eggs are harvested today? And we'll have two guesses that we're going to do. One is the number of eggs. And don't start the other one because I don't go there until the numbers quit rolling. How many eggs are harvested today? Oh, yeah, the news part's over for our coffee drinkers. All right, first guess is in. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, dancing all around it. Keep going. Keep going. Some people keep guessing the numbers other people already guessed. Keep going. Oh, Stan Grenfell got it. Stan the man, he got the guess. Stan the man got it. It's 7. Got 7 eggs. 7. Stan the man got the number. Stan the man. Stan Grenfell. All right. It's 7. Stan got it first, Cha-Cha. Stan the man. All right, quit guessing. Well, the number stopped rolling. Looks like they've stopped. I'll throw out the next question. I don't even know where my eggs are right now. Oh, hey, Kim Possible. Hey, Kim Possible gave me a donation the other night. I'm glad to see you in the house. She gave me a donation the other night, but it came through on my email right after I closed the video down. So I give her credit tonight. Thank you, Kim Possible. Appreciate the donation. A generous donation, too, I might add. I think it was $25. So I appreciate that. So I like to give credit where it's due. I just didn't, you know, I ended the video before the email came through that notified me. So thank you for that. Anyway, all right, next guess. How many Easter eggs I get? How many Easter eggs I get? It's going to be smaller than the total number, right? Total number 7. So how many Easter eggs did I get? Yeah, congratulations to Kim. Absolutely. Now, they're not all Easter eggs, Keith. That's the biggest number it could be, though. How many Easter eggs I get? Oh, there we go. Keith in Arizona got it. Keith in Arizona. Keith in Arizona got it. It's 2. 2. All right, here we are. We got 7 eggs total. 2 of them are Easter eggers. And here they are. Let's see if I can get a better light. See the color of the Easter egg. Nope, and light. This yellow light don't make them come out good. All right, here we are. The Easter eggs are right here. You see them? Kind of bluish green. And all these rest of them are Dominecker eggs, it looks like. I got a leghorn hen. She ain't laid nothing. I think she's gonna be heading for the pot if she don't start laying when it warms up. There we are, 7 eggs. That's what I gathered today. I think I had 8 yesterday. I didn't do a live session yesterday. So there we are. Yeah, you got it, Keith. You guessed that one. Hey, Cuban nurse, pray to Marie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, we're wrapping up now. We've gone through just about everything there's to go through. We've been online for 64 minutes. The closer I can cut this to an hour, the more people will watch it in the morning. So if you're coming in late, catch it on the rewind because I put out a lot of information when I started. I'm trying to wrap this up. Kim Possible, she guessed 2 also, but Keith in Arizona got it first. So let's see, Pilgrim guessed it too. All righty, guys. Hey, I want to thank all you mods for keeping the channel clean here. We had a little debate going on in the house tonight. That's okay. You know, I believe in freedom of speech, so I don't require people to think the same way I do. And they're free to express it as long as you're respectful. So please, just all I ask is you be respectful. And their opinion absolutely can differ on my channel. There are channels that will not permit that. If you disagree, they will fry you. Some of you know who some of those channels are. So again, I just want to thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody, being here. Thank you, Kim Possible, for the donation, which I couldn't give you credit for last time because, like I said, I hit the end button before the email wrote through. So semi-healthy debate. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. You know, guys, here's the deal. We don't all agree with each other. And never will, really, because we're all different individuals and we got different worldviews. And right now in this country, there's 2 predominantly different worldviews. But the only way we need to come together, and the only way to do that is talk amongst each other. But there's a lot of people that try to shut down the discussion. Well, you don't get anywhere by shutting down the discussion. You don't get accomplish something by actually airing it out, talking through it. Now, there's probably better forms to do that than a YouTube chat room, but that needs to happen. That's why I've got a lot of people disagree with me on Facebook. I post stuff and they go, ah! But, you know, it's just part of the process. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Yeah, I got to hit the hay. I got to get up in a little bit. It's going to take me a bit to finish processing this. I won't get enough sleep tonight, and I got a bunch of stuff to do this weekend. So it's going to kind of hit. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, guys, do that, please. Hit the thumbs up. And when I post this video, go into the comment section, leave a comment somebody else's comment, maybe like a few comments if you agree with what they're saying. If you don't agree with what they're saying, there's a place to chat right there. There's a place for debate because, like I said, we don't all see things the same. And we got different opinions in here. And I ain't got no problem with that. That's fine because people in our world got different opinions. So let's air it out. Let's get it said. What did I say earlier? I said, if we don't get rid of the hatred in our hearts, we're not going to survive. Whoosh. I can be harsh, but I empathize, especially with people who I think are where I was. Guys, when I was in high school, when I started high school, I was a communist. And later in high school, one of my history teachers kind of took me aside and talked to me at good long length and convinced me that there just weren't enough incentive in a communist country for it to succeed economically. So I became a socialist. And I was a socialist until I actually saw how big government worked when I went in the Army. And that changed my mind in a flash. It's like, whoa, this ain't what I thought. And hey, when I voted for Ronald Reagan, if that'll give you any idea how fast I changed. Yes, I went in Carter's army, but I voted for Ronald Reagan. Carter's army was a mess. Anyway, so just telling you where I went. Now, I don't mean I'm going to agree with any or every individual that's, you know, from the, you know, that side of the house that runs for president. There's a lot of things I'm going to disagree with. But, you know, I just say it as it is. For example, Trump, you know, when he said he destroyed all the nuclear waste, you know, he had Isfahan, what was Isfahan, Fordo, and what was the other one? Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo. And Fordo was the main facility where they used those buster bombs. That's where they really thought the most of the centrifuges were. And he said, we totally obliterate, we totally obliterate, we totally obliterate. And some of the news people and others that disagreed with him, he hammered them hard. Well, guess what? I don't agree because I know that didn't happen. I know that because where those bunker busters went through, there was, a shaft all the way down to that area below, blown wide open, and there would have been uranium hexafluoride. It's a gas. It's radioactive. It's caustic. It would have came out, and you couldn't approach the area if that uranium hexafluoride came in. It's extremely toxic. And you had guys running around there with no mask on, no chemical protective clothing, running heavy equipment after the bombs fell. There was no uranium hexafluoride there, which tells me there was nothing in those tunnels, at least not active centrifuges. So we know there was like 21 big trucks lined up just days before the event took place. It took all that stuff to Pickaxe Mountain. That's where this stuff's at. We can pray for another. We can pray for one another. Yes, all others. Jane, an awesome and blessed day. Okay. So, I don't, I'm not going to agree with everybody or anybody necessarily. The facts need to stand where they're at. And that's the main thing. But hey, I do like a lot of the fact that they laid off a bunch of civil service that needed to happen. Cutting the civil service needed to happen. We need closing the borders that needed to happen. Getting some of the riffraff out needed to happen. It kind of bugs me that Trump said they know who all these sleeper cell agents are. It's like, well, we got out on one. We need to deport those first. It's the first people we should have deported. So, Scott Mack, there's not much point in left or right. Red and blue makes purple. They win if they fight. Oh, remember to give a lot. Well, thank you, oldest dirt whoosh. If you fully agree with anyone, you might want to reconsider. Exactly. You got to think for yourself. I try to think for myself. So, Kim Possible, have an awesome and blessed day. Yeah, I wish y'all all the same. So, we're going to end the video here in a second. And I got to pull up the screen for that. So, yeah. I ain't doing what I want to your silly computer. So what I want to say is, again, thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate y'all. I try to bring you analysis like nobody else. I'm a big picture guy. I can connect dots a lot of people miss because I am a big picture guy. And I have delved and worked many various areas. You can see I've done rockets, rocket motors, avionics, hazard analysis. I've done for rockets. I've done, rocket hazard analysis on rocket motors. I have done a lot of stuff in my career. Designed test program sets for M1 tanks and F-15s. I've designed electrical controls and power systems for industrial parts washing machines. And I worked in chicken plants and cotton mills. Been in the Army. Been in the National Guard. Grew up on a farm. So I've got a wide area of experience. But what I don't know, I couldn't tell you nothing about sports. Couldn't tell you anything about television. I don't even know what's playing on TV these days. So, but I'm trying to focus where it matters and to bring you guys what you need to know to stay safe. That's what it's all about. So that's what I brought you tonight. Just talking about the threats, what it would mean, what's going to mean to economics. So we're talking about clothing, food, plastics. That's going to affect everything if we don't get the Strait of Hormuz open. And I think that's amazing. How do you get the Strait of Hormuz open? Well, already the Ayatollah there is saying that he wants to keep it closed, just shut permanently, basically. Let's hope that don't happen. Whatever. But, guys, we are facing some risk today, but we want to face risk any way we slice this. Because the end game is not pretty. It's hard to get to a pretty circumstance from where we're at today. If you go watch my video about, how the war ends, I had some unique analysis in there. And I bring you stuff that nobody else talks about. And you are the #1 doctor of worms. That's right. I am a worm farmer. That's how some of my videos got started. And I really laughed when I did a numerical analysis on some of the aspects of the spreading and lethality was projecting for the pandemic bug. And somebody piped in and said they didn't want to hear math and numbers from a worm farmer. Oh, my God, I laughed. Mathematics was my collegiate sport. I aced every swinging math class in college. Believe me, mathematics was my collegiate sport. I thought that was hilarious. Like, you don't know who you're talking to. And I get people, a lot of people that's been around me at work, they don't know what else I've done. They got no clue who I am, the things I've done in my life. Greg, I'm at LOL type and half asleep. That's okay. Hey, I've been half asleep too many times. I feel optimistic about the future. I really hope for an optimistic future. I got another channel, Galactic Greg. Hey, you're just a fearmonger. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you guys to get ready. If I was a fearmonger, I wouldn't be in here laughing half the time like I do. But, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be prepared. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be ready because the threats are out there. Will they actualize? Let's hope not. But they could. They absolutely could. So if somebody's going to tell me that somebody don't have the capability to do something, I might just show you otherwise. That's what I did tonight, showing you the things I've done. It's like, I know this can be done because I did stuff like this decades ago on a shoestring budget. So don't tell me it can't be done. The question is, will they do it? Do they have the will to do it? Because if they did something like this, you can bet it'd be boots on the ground. The United States would be in like crazy, rooting out the United States has a military that could do it. We just don't have the political willpower for it. And maybe we shouldn't. On the other hand, whatever the case is, I'm not going to argue that. I'm just bringing you the facts, what it boils down to. I'm not arguing whether it should be or shouldn't be. I'm not a fan of war. I do believe in self-defense. But, where do you cut the line on that? Sometimes we don't have all the data here amongst ourselves, but also we know that the powers that be in the military industrial complex likes to blow big money because it's profitable. And we know that Senator Lindsey Graham never met a war he didn't like. So he must have some big stock or be getting fed money under the table by the big defense contractors because that guy, he never saw a war he didn't like. And I think that's heinous. That guy, I wouldn't give you 2 cents for him. Hey, chat tonight. Smart ass patriot. Well, thank you. Salute to you. Appreciate that. All righty. Awesome. Awesome. Uncle Ghost, for sure, more people are getting past the fog and seeing through the programming. We got a lot of that. Recognizing patterns in reality is the first step to correcting things. Amen. But I do believe things can be corrected. That's why I started the Freedom Restoration Foundation. At one time we had a survival tribe network, but a lot of people didn't really participate in that. We tried real hard to promote the idea of forming mutual assistance groups, survival tribes. Tell you to work with your neighbors. I still tell you that. So, guys, the bottom line, and in the end, is love is the answer to everything. It really is. It's the number one answer. Most of us can't get that through our noggin. Well, that's why I can't get through our noggin that the Chinese have really declared war on us already. They're already fighting a Sun Tzu war against us, and we just don't know it. If you don't believe that, just look what's happened with this F-ball stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, F-ball, you need to go back to some other. It rhymes with and all. It starts with fent, okay? But that's just one of many things. You look at all the biolabs, there's risk. The risks are real. To ignore them is not wise. But to prepare for them is wise. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Be prepared. And because we live right now where there may be lone wolves, we're seeing lone wolves acting up right now. We see it. It's happening all over the country. So, my friends, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. That's what I tell you all the time. That's why we're swivel heads in this channel, because I know you do it. Stay situationally aware. That's one of the top things you can do. If you're in a city, get out of the city. I wouldn't want to live in the city. But if you're in a crowd of strangers and you get on this thing and your attention gets zoop in there, suddenly you don't know what's going on around you. How many times has somebody got attacked on a bus and ceased to exist because they got so focused in their phone they didn't know somebody was coming up on them to do bad stuff? Well, that guy looked like he was asleep back there behind me when I sat down. Yeah, right. This is why be proactive, not disempowered. Amen. Whoosh. I like that name. Whoosh. I dated a girl one time named Rosemary Doppler. Doppler, saying the other thing, right? Some names are interesting. And of course, that's not your actual name, but that's a good moniker. I like it. Hexafus. I'm concerned more about NK. They're the wild card. They are a wild card, big time. Little Kim, and then his sister may take over. She's a nut job. She scares a bejesus out of me. She may take over. She's talking about giving the power to his daughter. His daughter isn't ready yet. His sister might take care of something happens to him. He's not in good health, but he's a nut job himself. And his dad, it was all into cartoon characters, and he looked and acted kind of like one himself. So, guys, that is not a stable country, and they got nukes. So, the problem is we're getting more and more countries, more and more people with nukes, and that whole thing is metastasizing. I've been talking about the democratization of destruction, and nukes isn't the only thing. We're talking now about mirror life. We're talking about nanotechnology. We're talking AI. We're talking just germ warfare. We're talking lots of things. They could get ugly fast. This is why you need to be eyes wide open, head on swivel. Prepping, praying, hope for a better day. All right, I've been going on that. I've been ending this video for 20 minutes. I'm in the country, but then there's that Bill Whoosh. I don't know what Bill Whoosh is. Oh, hey guys, I'm way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm off grid, and I'm living in my bug out zone now. That's just, hey, I'm putting my money and my action where my mouth is. There's channels out here tell you to do things, but they don't do it. I'm doing it. I'm living it. Living the dream. It's actually beautiful. It's a beautiful country. It's nice and quiet. I love it. I love it. So it's doable. It's doable. Yeah, okay, stop talking. Good idea. Let's get. Thank you, Super Chatters. I really appreciate that. Smart ass patron. And from the other day, Kim Possible. Thank you, mods. And Bill Air Force Base. Oh, okay. Yeah, you watch it living around Air Force Base or Army base, especially if it's a strategic weapons base. You got to watch that, guys. That might not be a good place to be when it goes down. If you're there, you might need a bug out somewhere else. You need a plan for that. Don't have your bug out plan as, well, I'm going to throw everything in the car and I'm going to drive somewhere. Most people go to the national parks. National parks are going to be cannibal zones. So, because everybody's going there. So work on a plan. Western civilization for the win. Okay. Work on a plan, guys. Have a plan. And work it out with your family and loved ones. Where are your rendezvous points? How are you going to do these things? Work that stuff out. Get to it. Don't waste any time. You know what? Because we're in crazy times right now. It could get bad fast. Let's hope and pray it don't, but it could. All right, my friends. So I'm going to say to one and all, thank you for watching. And to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho. In honor of Granny Lana. God rest her soul.